really quickly, I wanted to touch on that last one that you talked about, wisdom teeth. Can we go into that, where that originated from, and why we should be looking at that?
Yeah, so it goes clear back to Weston Price that we talked about at the beginning. He's found that as we've changed our diets, our mouths are smaller than they used to be. People often say, well, gosh, why do we have to get our wisdom teeth out? Because they don't freaking fit anymore. Why don't they fit anymore? Well, I don't know, because if you look at skulls from 300 years ago, they all fit.
Yeah.
They had room for all these teeth, and they had straight teeth. Well, what's going on? Well, it's our diet. It's the food that we're eating. This is actually interesting. So I adopted my son when he was 2.5, and his teeth were lined up like airplane runways, like front teeth. Next teeth were right behind him. The next teeth were right behind him. His mouth was so small. His top jaw was on the inside of his bottom jaw. And what I learned at that time is that the top jaw is the first bone affected by malnutrition. So we are, has been quoted, quote unquote, the most overfed, undernourished society in all history, because our food doesn't have nutrients. We're going to just circle it back here. Our food doesn't have nutrients in it anymore. So we are malnourished. Our children are malnourished, and their mouths are forming too small. When your top jaw forms too small, the teeth are crooked. Does anybody ever have to have braces anymore? Everybody has to have braces anymore. Why? So our teeth that we have in the mouth don't fit, and we can't fit them all in. The wisdom teeth don't fit either. So now we don't have room. Now it's causing cavities. It's causing other issues. And so standard process is, we'll just take them out. The problem is when we take them out, there's a ligament surrounding each tooth. It should come out with the tooth. It doesn't just naturally come out with the tooth. If that ligament's left behind, it's that same dead organ problem. The body doesn't know that the tooth is gone for about 10 days. So it grows gum tissue over, but the bone doesn't heal inside, and it forms a dead zone in that bone that then attracts bacteria. Attracts bacteria, virus, fungus, parasites. We found parasites swimming around in these holes before.
Wow.
So the problem is that the dead stuff lives there, but there's no circulation into the dead zone. I like to think of it kind of like, Portland used to be a few years ago, where there was like that, demilitarized zone or whatever it was that no cops go in. That's what kind of is going on in these jawbone areas where the cops can't come in, but they can drop their garbage over the fence out. So they drop all of their toxins out, but the cops can't come in because there's no blood vessels in there. There's no circulatory system in there. So these toxins spread everywhere through the system, are a huge effect on the endocrine system. So energy systems, adrenal, thyroid, sex hormones, so estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. If anyone has issues with that, hips and stomach. Those are the things that are really affected by the wisdom teeth areas. If you have had, a lot of times people will track it. They'll say, oh, I've had hypothyroidism since I was 20. When did you get your wisdom teeth out? When I was 19. Never have put two and two together. Never. Oh, I have had sleep issues, or I've had hormone problems since I was 20 or 21 or 18, or since I was 15, I've had headaches. Really? When did you get your wisdom teeth out? When I was 15. Interesting. So if this is you, if you had all these weird, and this was on root cause as well, beam CT scan, we can actually see, did those bones heal properly or not? And if they did not, we have to go back in and clean that dead tissue out, clean out that demilitarized zone. We got to clean that out, disinfect all the bugs in there, and then fill it up when we fill it up with stem cells, so it will finally heal this time around. So that is the other big one. And this is completely not even under recognized, but they don't acknowledge, typically my profession in general doesn't acknowledge the existence of these things, which is so interesting. Because if you're placing a dental implant, I've placed thousands of dental implants. If you're placing a dental implant, when you're making a channel or a hole in the jawbone to put it into, you'll be drilling, and all of a sudden you go, that drill will just drop in and it'll bleed like crazy. And if you ask any dentist that's placed a dental implant, have you ever fallen into something in the jawbone? They'll go, oh yeah, that happens. That's what I'm talking about. That spot, that's what I'm talking about. The hole, that's what I'm talking about, is that place that didn't heal right. Oh, well, that's not the same thing. No, that's the same thing. That's what I'm talking about. That's full of bugs. That's why it just like explodes when you drop in there. It's full of bugs. So these really aren't even acknowledged in the profession. So you have to find somebody that says, oh yeah, I'll go check those wisdom teeth areas. I'll see if there's something there that's infected that could be affecting you. And I've had people go from, I had one lady who'd been literally bedridden. She'd had to go back move in with her mom, bedridden, couldn't work. The next morning after cleaning this out, she was up doing the dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Her mom was like, what in the world? I had a gentleman who was blind. He's blind, was losing his hearing, which was his only connection to the world. Clean these out, 80% hearing back by the time this infection had gone and was resolved. So huge huge effect on bodies and people when these infections are living in these areas.
It is incredible how dentistry can be the source sometimes of chronic disease, but just a simple fix to it and acknowledging that it was the source can be the thing that turns it all around. And I mean, we've seen it so much, and I deal with so many different practitioners that if you just address the dental issues, that's like 90%. The rest is actually somewhat easy to address those other little symptoms that popped out, but it was all really starting there in your mouth.